So alcohol impairs your judgment and it decreases your coordination. So your reaction time is slowed and your depth perception's off. Gives you poor vision. Situation that you normally could react in, you would react differently. You wouldn't see it the same way and you might make a poor decision. It has a sedative effect and can make you drowsy. Sometimes you hear of someone falling asleep at the wheel, especially after drinking alcohol. So it has many devastating effects on your whole vision of driving, and your reaction time is very slow.
Think before acting, think before drinking, think before certainly drinking and driving.
According to the CDC, 28 people are killed every day due to drunk driving. In the United States, there's one drunk driving death every 53 minutes. The annual cost of alcohol-related crashes totals more than $44 billion.
About how many accidents do you respond to that involve drinking and driving?
I'd say about 90% of our accidents. Unfortunately, I'd say about 50% of the accidents we respond to are underage.
We're trained to do a job, and you don't get to pick your patients, sadly. So it's one of those situations where you get on scene and you just try to help that person the best you can, and you think about it afterwards.
Listen, she's not going to make it, but I'd really like to talk to her family.
It's very difficult. Some of our calls are very young people, and you get to the hospital and all of a sudden, the family finds out and there's screaming, there's crying. If you know the person, it can be rough on you too. We take a lot of this stuff to heart, knowing that there was nothing more that we could do for these people.
We're going to have to stop efforts, stop CPR. Time of death, 7:26 p.m. Sorry.
On April 4th, 2015, at around 1 a.m., 3 friends were on their way home after a typical Friday night of hanging out and drinking. The 3 had been inseparable since high school and continued to be close friends. They never imagined that getting into the car that night would be the last decision that one of them would ever make.
When I heard about the accident, it was early morning. Probably, I'd say the phone call came in around 7 o'clock in the morning. And it was this person I know, but I'm not really close to this person. I just know her. And she was like, she told me that Garrett had got killed in a car accident. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, huh? I couldn't believe it, And, I felt, it was like I was just waking up. I woke up to this phone call. And that's the news I got when I woke up, that he had gotten killed in a car accident. And I was in shock. I was just, very emotional, hit my knees.
Many favorite memories. However, the one that sticks out the most was Garrett was in one of my fiction classes and had inadvertently fallen asleep on his book. And I wandered over and I tapped on him and asked him what he was doing. He looked up at me with that wonderful smile and had no idea he'd literally fallen asleep and drooled a little bit on my book. And I teased him relentlessly about the rest of the year that he owed me a new book for leaving his DNA all over my book. But he gave me the biggest Garrett smile ever, and that's what I will always, always remember about Garrett, is that just unenduring smile.
It affects all of us, no matter who it is, whether it's one death or how many there are. I think because we're such a close-knit community and our school community is very close, that it does affect all of us.
My favorite memory of Garrett is his omnipresent smile, which was in effect one fall Friday night where he was coming off the football field, sweaty. We had just lost a tough football game, but there he was, still smiling, realizing that he was living life and enjoying it.
It's kind of like a really, really big blow to the community, like a bomb, like an atomic bomb, man. It was just devastating, and it was. I think it made people aware.
I think continuing the education about alcohol is imperative. There's a place for alcohol in society, but it needs to be constantly reevaluated.
One of the students that always went by and said hello to me, always stopped, made sure, that he stopped in and said hello. So I was very fond of him, and I loved watching him. I watched him mature into a really, really fine young man. So,
my favorite memory of Garrett was when we were in the shop at my dad's, and we put his first light bar on. I think it's 32 inches, and sorry, this is a little hard. We installed it, got it all hooked up and wired up, and me, Matt Moriarty, and my dad were all in front of the car, all in front of the truck, and we put down the hood, and we hear from behind, "Hey guys, look at this!" And all three of us turn around, and he flips on a switch, and let me tell you what, that light was brighter than bright. But that was a good night.
I would just tell him I loved him. I don't think I would say anything. I don't think I would, yeah, I would just tell him that I loved him. Absolutely.
Can you give like a specific example of what you've told your sons about drunk driving?
Yeah, I said that, that it's very important to me for you to be here with me next day and beyond. So I tell them to be safe. I tell them that if they're in a situation where they feel they're unsafe or someone's driving them that it's unsafe, that I'd like you to call me. I'd like them to call me. And yeah, we may have a discussion, I may be angry the next day, but I want them here with me.
In 2005, the state of Massachusetts passed Melanie's Law tightening penalties for drinking and driving, including harsher penalties for people under the age of 21. Incidents of drunk driving fatalities decreased from 16,885 in 2005 to 10,265 in 2015. Sadly, in 2016, the numbers increased by nearly 300 deaths.
That's a great question. As a community, how can we help people understand the seriousness of alcohol consumption, or help the young people understand that? And I think we just need to keep educating about that, and and use this as an example of what can happen.
You have friends, and you take care of your friends. So I think if you avoid the issue, you're doing them more damage than good. So you have to be mean and brutally honest. I have another friend in Brooklyn who doesn't talk to me anymore because basically every time I saw him, I told him he needed to stop drinking, so he got bored of me.
But what does the group think? What are teenagers thinking? What do they do? Because you're living in that world, and that world sometimes is a secretive world to the assistant principal of a high school, or even to a parent. And how are you guys, the thing is, empower one another to stay safe?
I was one of the responders to Garrett Norton's accident. That was probably the worst car accident I've ever been to. And I made a decision after that night that something needed to change. And I started trying to come up with an idea of how we were going to do this. We had talked about the idea at the fire department for a few years, back and forth here and there. We had talked to Mr. Annan and Mrs. Young about it a couple of years ago. Between this logistics, it fell through. I think that there is a gap between the training and education that students get today, young people get, and that's why I think that we can try to make a difference by doing this program.
Okay, what's going on?
Got an accident.
Okay. Who's driving this car here? Okay. Hey, come over here, man. Come over here. Come over to my car here with this officer. Just a minute, all right?
Why don't you grab a seat right there, okay? I have the ambulance on their way. Do not move, sir. Miss, can you hear me? Miss, can you hear me?
Take your right foot in front of your left foot, just like this.
Listen, the ambulance is pulling in right now. Unfortunately, that door is not going to open, so they're going to take you out this way. Okay, Jason, we're pulling in right now.
You're gonna keep your hands down at your sides. You're gonna look down at your feet and you're gonna count your steps out loud.
Tyler, can you hear me? Tyler, can you hear me? I just hope this program works. Sadly, I think that we are definitely a species that learns from doing something and learning from our mistakes. And sadly, when you get in a car drunk or when somebody else is drunk and you get in an accident and somebody is killed over it, it's a little too late. So I think that we're trying to make it where if at least one person left there with thinking that I'm going to start making better choices and leaving the keys on a bowl, then I'll feel pretty good about that. So.